Hello, guys. How are you? So, we're going to jump into today. I'm really excited about this morning and what Friday offers. Today, we're going to be talking about stories that sell. I posted a status about how there are people out here who are making much more money. Oh, give me 1 second, guys. They're making. There we go. Guys, sorry, I had to put something on the phone. But they're making much more money than you, yet they are at less value than you, right? And we talked about this. And so today we're going to dive into another training. I've gotten so much feedback. It was amazing. The feedback that I've gotten back from yesterday's training, everyone was I've gotten so many emails and messages from people they changed their pricing. They went back to, retargeting who they're actually meant to serve. Hey, Kenya, how are you? So it's very important that I get everybody ready, so that as we go into Boss Builder, you won't be a newbie, right? You won't be somebody who, knows nothing, right? You're going to know at least some really key nuggets, and hopefully, you will already begin to, adjust your business, right? So that what you will learn in Boss Builder, it will be just extra layers on top to grow your business. So yesterday we spent a lot on service-based businesses, people who had higher price point values in their business, right? And so today we're going to be looking at stories that sell. This is a huge component in building your tribe. In order to get you guys ready for Boss Builder, we have to talk about storytelling because, sales is key. It literally is key. Sales is so important. And a lot of people, I posted this from a video, and people don't think that they have to sell. They feel like, all they have to do is present product. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to get ready for today. And again, guys, today we're talking about stories that sell. So I'm just going to get this pad ready. Okay. And again, we're talking about stories that sell. And a lot of you guys, one of the things that I really loved was that for a lot of you guys were like, I love the pad, because I was able to tell. It was just hilarious. You're like, I really liked it when you're writing on the board. So I like it because it's almost like a digital whiteboard. So that's going to help us on today. So today we're talking about, again, stories that sell. Okay. And a lot of people think that their stories automatically sell, but more than likely you're not really telling a story. You're just trying to make some money. Right. And you have to learn that community is key, right? We're talking about community being key. We're talking about stories being key. And also to increase your value, you have to tell more stories. If you look at people who are in, higher realm coaching, higher realm products, there is actually a bigger story around the product, right? I mean, you don't have to tell, you'll notice that if you go to the dollar store, right, they're not telling a story, okay, about why you should buy this 99-cent sock, okay? But here's the thing, but for companies that are branded, because if you go to the dollar store, there are still branded products that, people notice, and the reason why people will buy those products is because there is a story, right? There's a higher price point, even if it's by 30 cents, even if it's 20 cents more, there is a story attached to it. So today we're going to be talking about, money bringing you money coming to you because of you have a key story, right? So let's get started into some of the most favorable things that can, help you grow when it comes to your story. There's 3 things we're going to look at this morning. I have to be at the office. My mother is waiting on me to be at the office by 12 noon. So we're going to have to rush this. Okay, or she's gonna come. she's gonna terrorize me. Okay, so we're gonna be looking at 3 things that are gonna help you with your story. These are things that you can apply this weekend, things you can apply to your email marketing, things that you can apply to your social media. Okay, one of the things is you have to know, first of all, your story. Okay, now, for many people, they think that this automatically means their experiences, right? But, and we're going to talk about this, even in your experiences, you got to break, especially when you're selling, okay? You have to break down how your experiences relate to the product. what many people do that is horrible is that you tell everybody your business, okay? And your business needs to relate to your business. Okay, does that make sense? Your business, your personal matters need to relate to the product. Otherwise, it's trash. Now, I want you guys to, she's saying what I've been through is trash. No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that it's not a part of this, so it needs to be put somewhere else. Okay, the trash. And what I'm saying is that it doesn't need to be a part of it. So when I hear a lot of people sell, they use every story that they feel is a sob story, is a sad story to make money, right? And so they feel like if I just tell some stories, it's going to bring me some money. And if it doesn't relate to the product, though, it's not really relevant. So I'm not telling you to throw your experiences, away per se, but I'm telling you they don't belong when you're talking about your product, when you're talking about your service. How do your experiences directly correlate to your product? For a lot of you, you could be selling a lot more if you created some landing pages, right? I mean, of course, you still have your product on your site, but if you could create some landing pages where you had your picture here, your story that relates to why the product is needed, and then a purchase button at the bottom. A lot of you, because again, especially for those of you who have some higher ticket items that, products or programs, you need to really focus more on storytelling. And it has to be where the storytelling moves them somewhere. And we're going to talk about this a little bit later. This is why you have to know their story. Now, the thing about knowing their story is that it's not as if you're going to get, every single follower or tribe member in the room and say, okay, guys, I need you to tell me, your story. But this stuff is collected actually in the sign up process. When people sign up, for whether it's email lists, courses, whatever, you need to figure out what they need and what they're going through, right? You have to know that, because you have to connect your story with their story. Or otherwise, they're not going to purchase, okay? Because it doesn't match. So you have to figure out, okay, what is their story? So it's almost like playing Go Fish. Not even Go Fish, but like, what's the game called when you match up the cards? The matching game, right? Where you match the cards up. We're just going to call it the matching game. You have to know what their story is. This is why collecting data, okay, is so key. What is really valuable is people's answers. So I'll give you a perfect example, and I'm going to just drop this as a little bonus thing. So I am, you guys know Boss Builder is coming up right now. Boss Builder is going to be a 2-day free training. And in Boss Builder, I'm actually working on releasing a book. Okay, matter of fact, let me just drop in the book so you guys can see it. So I'm releasing a 30-day workbook, right? It comes out, and I'm just going to drop it right here. You're going to see it right there. Actually, let me drop it. There you go. Bam, 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 bam. So I'm dropping this workbook. Okay, I'm going to put it right here in the corner so you can see it, right? And so with this workbook is a combination, okay, of not just the class, but it's also a combination of all of the data that was given to me when you guys signed up. When many of you, if you haven't signed up, you need to sign up, okay? So this data was given to me when people were signing up for the class, okay? I asked them a simple question. It was literally one question. What are some things that you're struggling in? What are some things that you need to work on? And I received a myriad of questions. Myriad of answers. And, sometimes we look at them, we're like, okay, great. I know what to base my product off of, But you got to look deeper into the answers that people are giving you. Because a lot of times if you don't read between the lines, you'll miss out on key products that you could introduce later down the line or in some kind of system, right? So in collecting the data, you're going to hear their story. You're going to hear what they're going through, what they need, okay? And then what you do is you're going to connect that with this. Okay, you're going to connect your story with their story. And every single time you launch a product, you need to launch it behind a story. You never launch a product without a story. Even people in ads and marketing, they understand this. Whenever they're marketing a product, there's a story, there's some kind of ad that kind of tells a story with it. So what story are you telling with your products? If I were you, I would go back to your products that you're having right now and figure out what story are you telling with them. Okay, what story are you telling with them, and how does it connect to your audience's story? It may not connect to everybody's story in your tribe and in your community, but it needs to connect with enough of them. So I never will release product that I feel like does not match somebody's story. And the problem is that we love to launch stuff that matches our story. But what does your tribe need? Now, a lot of times there are going to be some things that you went through that will connect. I mean, because again, they're connecting to you because obviously they connected with you and with your story, right? But then the key in business is to connect with their story. What is it that they need? Okay. Remember, business is not about, you being king. It's about you being a servant unto your base and you serving them. That's really what it's about. So a lot of times the reason why people aren't making money is because you want stuff to be all about you and you're forgetting about them. Okay. The reason why people and we talked about this before, the reason why people are, who do less than you, who have less experience than you, who have less wisdom than you and less knowledge than you, they're making money because of this. Okay, they're showing up. They're showing up. And we're going to talk about this showing up. This is very key. This is where a lot of people miss it in their storytelling. Is that you only show up to post. You only show up to comment. And you only show up to speak when it's beneficial to you. This is why you're losing. Because you've forgotten what real engagement is. We think engagement is to just be present where we want to, right? But the reason why people are making more money than you is because they're going beyond you. And let me just erase this real quick. They're going beyond you, and that's why they're winning. Let me just make the eraser bigger real quick, guys. Give me a second. Did not mean to do that. There you go. That's the thing, right? So they're making more money than you because they're showing up. And this number 3 is key. This is the thing about storytelling. You don't just, oh my God, that P just looks atrocious. Okay. You don't just show up to sell. Okay. And we think that selling is like a one-time thing. So like, for instance, you tell somebody, oh, I'm selling this, I'm selling that. But that's really not selling, okay? That's like a one-time pitch, right? Selling is a process, okay? And this is where a lot of you are missing it. This is where a lot of people are missing it, and hopefully you're going to get it today. Here's what a lot of you do. You tell someone, I have a product, okay? Let's say you have a book. Okay, you have a book. Ooh, Lord. It looked like a dimensional door. You have a book. This is your book. And you have been focusing on selling the book. That's all you're focused on is selling this book. But then here is so-and-so. And to be honest, they like you, but they don't want the book. That's just, and they have a right to not want the book, okay? They like you, though. They support you and everything, but they just don't want your book. They don't want that. They don't want what you're selling right there. Okay. So what you do is you decide, you know what, since you don't want my book, it's fine. I'm going to move on to somebody else. You cross them out. Right. And you say, I need to talk to so-and-so because they want the book. And, so you capture that sale. And this person doesn't want the book. And so you cross them out. Right. But here's the part that a lot of people miss. Because selling is a process, right? You need to capture every interested person. The reason why people who are doing less than you and are making more than you is because they understand one thing. They're in it for the long haul and for future sales. even if someone does not buy the ticket for your event this year, they may not buy this book right now, but they will be interested in something in the future because they have given you their email. And I promise you this, most people, they will buy something or invest in something, or even if it's free, they'll sign up for something, right? You got to think more about the long haul. People who are in here to make a quick buck and just want you just to drop some money into their PayPal, they're all about, you know what, let me just make this sell today, or let me make this sell tomorrow. And if you don't want it, then buy. But me, I'm not like that. No, I want you to be with me. Even if you don't buy my product today, I need you in my tribe. So you have to learn how to capture people. Even if they're not going to be there, okay? Even if they don't want it now, you got to be able to capture. So what you need to figure out is, how can I continuously capture and push product at the same time? This is the whole thing about showing up, okay? When you show up, when you come into a room, you don't leave because so-and-so doesn't want this. So no, I'm there. I'm here. I'm present. So you respond back to people, even if they aren't buying your stuff. You still respond back to them. You still engage them. You still provide things that they can invest in. See, here's the thing, is even if they don't, you have to figure out ways to create different types of investment for people. Because here's the thing, this goes back to the psychology with selling, okay? Even if I don't get your paid product, okay, this is for those of us who are on the selling side. Let me still feel like I've invested something. Okay? Even if I invest $0, let me still feel as if I've invested something, right? Because if I have invested, anything, at least let me feel like I've invested my time. I've sacrificed something. You have to, if people don't feel like they've actually spent time with you, you'll never be able to elevate them past a certain level. So we have to show up. This is the reason why, I'm doing Boss Builder, because there's a lot of people who've never bought from me before. And I want them to experience a taste of what they get with me, whether it's in my coaching, my speaking, my training. I want them to experience. And so that 2-day investment, even though it's free, it's an investment for some people because they're giving their time. Okay, they're sacrificing what they could be doing and they're giving me their time. And I have to show that I value their time. I really do value their time. Are you creating moments of private investment for your audience? Not just one time. And this thing, and I'm not talking about lives. Yeah, because lives are public. You need it. It's the psychology of it. This is the reason why when people tell you, when you make a sale, you're working on sales, schedule a private meeting, so that you can have a private meeting with them, whether it's on the phone, whether it's in person, to cancel out their fears, to figure out what is it that they want privately, to figure out what it is that they need, right? Now, that's the reason why doing webinars, right, or doing, trainings, or doing even like opt-ins are really great, especially ones that really, where they're like, they're of real value, because people feel like you've invested in them, and over the course of time, they will invest in you. So even if I start out with them investing $0, right, if I stick with them, with the tribe, they may go from that to a $9.99 product. We talked about this yesterday, to then 49 to maybe a 99, right? To then a 149, and then maybe from there to a 500. It's a long-term process. Ooh, Lord. It's a long-term process. So you need to figure out in your business, where are the holes in my bucket, right? Where am I really investing in my community, or am I just trying to get some money? It's the reason why in business you won't last long if you're just trying to be in here for some bucks, because it's just going to be hard, right? So you have to learn how to show up. Another reason why people who are doing less than you are making more than you. We talked about this yesterday. With their story, okay, they are opening, up an experience. Pretty does not correlate to experience. A lot of you feel like because you have a pretty website that is an experience. That's not an experience. You just have a pretty website. What makes what you do an experience is in what you offer. It's not in just how it looks. Now, it should look nice, but don't rely on that, because there are a lot of people with pretty websites and are broke. That's why they come to me for coaching. Okay? Because it's not working. They have all the headshots and the style stock photography and the cool videos, because it's all about what you offer. Okay? And offering, we talked about yesterday, to offering the right people, right? We talked about knowing, who you're meant to be, who you're meant to, sell to. But then in this experience, it's not just in what you offer. We talked about it's in what you offer, but here's some other things. It's your onboarding process. This is where a lot of you are going to need some help. How do you onboard your future clientele? How do you onboard your tribe? A lot of you need to go back to your email list, your email sign-up process, and you need to go back and you do a couple things. Number one, we're going to talk about this in Boss Builder, but you're going to need to revise your opt-in because it's getting dry. You've been doing the same opt-in for the past couple of months, and it's great, but you got to liven it up. Okay, you got to really have to liven it up. And your opt-in should lead to an upsell. Okay, that is all connected to a story. Okay. So I don't just do an opt-in. I do an opt-in that has an upsell. Okay, this is how I'm connecting money to my free efforts, right? So you can offer, let's say you offer I'm trying to think of the best thing to do. It depends upon your area of expertise, but videos, downloadables, PDFs, all that kind of stuff, right? But here's something I really want you guys to consider. How should I put this? This is from those of you who are authors and have books out. I had a call last night and with someone about this, and kind of talk about this. Once your book is done for pre-order, okay, once you have kind of gone, hard with that, it's great. But if that's not like your main ticket, then you really need to shift your opt-in. Right. So having like a copy of your book attached is not going to be, it's great for like the first, when you're really going hard, but now you need to switch your opt-in. Same thing goes for those of you who are, excuse me, who are, you survive with like that really flimsy opt-in that was really like, it really was of no value. It's time for you to revise it. And you want to make sure that it goes with the upsell, but this upsell has to be ready to sell. So if you don't have something to upsell, then you need to just chill for a little bit, get that stuff together, and then have it for an upsell. But you want it to be something that is a good introductory price. So you don't want to come in saying, okay, my upsell is like a $500 thing. I guess it would be different if, you were already set high. But for most people who are kind of just getting out there, you want to make sure that your upsell is something that a regular person can come in and purchase. Okay. So we talked about, again, story, opening up with an experience. Experience is not just pretty. It's something that you offer. It's also the onboarding process towards the people that you are inviting in your tribe, right? So great welcome emails, great follow-ups, that kind of stuff, right? Now, one of the things that I'm working on and changing in how I show up is my engagement. And we're going to be ending with this because I can't be long and I have to head to the office, is your engagement. Now, we think engagement is social media, but that's not it. Okay, it's not it. Okay, that's one part of engagement with your community, but that's really not it. Again, it goes back to the story. What are you telling people that is your focus? And again, you have to remain on your focus. But what is it in your story that you tell people, okay, What's that focus thing? What is it that you do? I'm here to help businesses and ministries scale. I focus in the area of marketing. I focus in the area of, product development, those kind of realms. And so I'm not over here telling you how to finance. I'm not over here telling you how to build your relationships. That's not my thing. But I do know, because of my experiences, people know a lot about, when I was 19 and I got into business, how that really transformed, and how, I was able to start different things, and people seen the growth process. And so I tell those stories so that people understand, number one, that what I'm talking about is real. And then I share the experiences of those who went through my programs. So you need to start telling more testimonials. You have to, this is one thing I'm working on, because I've always been someone that kind of has been like the woman in the background. But when you're stepping out, you got to show more testimonials, not just one or two. But when you're pitching out especially programs, and if you're doing landing pages, you need to show a lot more testimonials. Okay. So people who've experienced what you are providing and what you're, pitching out to them, especially if it's like a higher price product, you need to show more testimonials. You got to show people who've actually experienced your coaching, experienced your products, experienced whatever it is. You need to show that, right? If you're in retail, a testimonial is simply a customer wearing your product, or reading your product, or, using your product. Those are another form of testimonial. So you actually have their stories, right? You have pictures, right? And then you have where, maybe it's videos as well, where people are sharing, what they've experienced by, your product or your service, right? So you got to go back and say, okay, do I have enough? Because, I can't just be using like one or two to sell each thing that you put out. Like, I'm going to be revising my Counted Out course, because now that I've had a large amount of people take it now, okay, now I need to go back, ask those people questions. Hey, thank you so much for taking the Counted Out course. What was your experience? Can you please, provide for me like a 1 to 2 paragraph of what your experience was, right? And, of course, let them know that, their story will be shared on the website or whatever it is that you're going to be putting up there. So you got to collect. So you need to go back to all the people who've experienced your stuff, and you need to go back and you need to collect. Okay, go back to everyone who's purchased, good or bad feedback. Okay, get it all and collect. Okay, say, hey, how was your experience, right? Go back and collect those stories. Then you're going to take those stories plus your story. And that's how you create good copy. And getting copy is just simply your marketing words. That's what we call them. So when you hear people say, hey, I need your copy, it means just basically your marketing words. It's what you're going to put next to the picture. It's the words that sell. Okay. That's what I like to call copy. It's words, okay, that sell. I'm getting better at this with this tablet. Ooh, it is definitely a process, but it's words that sell. Okay, that's pretty much what your copy is. So you need to figure out, okay, let me go back to how I'm explaining the product. You know what this also goes back into? You need to go back to your product descriptions for your site, right? And you need to figure out, is what I'm saying captivating enough, or am I just putting like book, includes this. No, you need to go back and look at your product description. Here's some other ways that you can improve. Look at your product descriptions. Okay, are they would you buy based upon your product descriptions? Would you actually purchase? Is it enough for the investment that you're asking? That's another thing too. Is that enough for the amount that you're asking people? Here's a really big nugget. A lot of us are writing like we're writing to people that already trust us. And so you're writing based upon, and this is really key for a lot of you. You're writing like this person, all they need is one paragraph, right? Because most people who already trust you, all they need is a paragraph. But people that you're trying to really get, this large chunk of money from, they don't know you. So you maybe, again, now if it's some earrings, you don't need to write 2 paragraph thing for earrings, right? But if I'm investing $300, $500, $1,000, $2,000, I need more than a paragraph. Okay. I need more. Some people, that's all they need is one sentence because they just trust you. But most people don't. So you need to You need to make sure that you are going deeper, okay, according to the price point. This is why landing pages are going to become so necessary for those of you who are going higher price points, okay, according to the value, okay, or the price point, okay. Now, let's look at some other things moving forward, okay. We're going to end here for talk about showing up, product description, things like that, okay? We're going to end with fear. A lot of people say they don't have fear. Actually, it's funny. A couple people, when they fill out the form, and I said, what are some things that you're struggling with? Some people actually said that they weren't struggling with anything. And I was actually shocked because I'm like, well, I'm not sure this is the course for you. If you're not struggling with anything, right? But one of the things when it comes to, and this is kind of like a 3A, really less of a 4, is fear. This is why people are beating you, if we shall be honest, right? This is the reason we talked about yesterday about, the guilt trip, right? Of why are you feeling so guilty about charging? Right? Why? Why is it that you're trying to explain yourself? Explain why now again, there's difference about explaining the value of something, but it's something a little bit different when you're trying to defend your ability to charge. You know what I mean? Like, what? What? So this is where we're gonna end. See, all the stuff I talk about really doesn't mean anything if you still are scared. One of the number one, I would say the number one thing when I was looking through the boss builder questions on what are some things that are, that you need to work on. Do you know how often fear was there by like grown people, fear. And it's because it's real. It's not something, it's funny. We think fear is like so childish, but it's so real because you're actually stepping out and it's going to take some work. And so you're like, oh my gosh. And so this is the reason why other people are here and they're showing up and they're, giving whatever price point, and the people are just like, here's my money, here's money, here's money, here's money. And then here you, and you're just like, I'm really not sure. I have all these questions. Should I do this? Should I do that? And so you're allowing all these questions to block you, right? When all you need to do is scribble, get all this fear, all this out, okay? And you need to focus on you being you, offering what you can offer. Now, here's the thing, though. The thing about it is that the reason why this person is getting all of these people is because they're not scared to go out. Okay. You are a business evangelist. This is what I tell people. An evangelist is someone that goes out to tell the gospel. Okay. So if you're in business, you can almost say your business gospel is your business, right? It's your story, right? So you got to figure out, okay, do I really trust what I'm saying? Because if you trust what you're saying, then you're going to go out. But most people, to be honest, they're really not that confident in their story. They're really they're very fearful. They just, oh man, is it good enough? Is it going to attract people? But yet there's this person out here, they don't even have all the stuff that you have and they're running out. So the question really comes back to is, what is your story? Do you really believe in your story like that? Like, are you sure? Or are you just kind of like out here just like kind of just, joking with people, right? So what I have to figure out is, number one, you need clarity. Okay, stop overcomplicating what you're working on. Okay, let's work on clarity. If we're going to work on anything today, yesterday we worked on pricing structures, being more confident in what we're pitching to people. Now today, let's focus on clarity. We talked about yesterday on how to simplify your services down to like 4 to 5, so that you're not overcomplicated. And even if you have more than that, just put the other ones on pause. Okay, so that you can focus on a more simplified strategy for your business. Okay. Have more clarity. Okay. Stop, your story should not have all these jumbled layers. It needs to have a clear story. Okay. It needs to talk to a defined audience. This is why we're not winning, because we're not weird. I'm not putting myself in that number. Most people are not winning. You need to have a clear story. You need to have a defined audience. You're not here. People say, this is what a lot of Google gurus, I call them Google gurus, because they don't have any real information. They just Google stuff. They always, people always say, oh, you have to find your audience now. You got to define your audience. And, it's more than that. We talked about yesterday about, we know that you're not here. People say, oh, you're not for everybody. Okay. But past that is you got to know very distinctly who you are for. And then past that, you got to be able to have a story that matches that. Remember, so it's not just me. I can know my audience all day. But this person's still beating me out here in these streets. Why? Because the thing about it is that they're not talking to everybody. They're going to a particular person and saying, hey, I saw you had this problem. I'm here to solve your problem. I'm actually an expert in solving those types of problems, right? And so they're pitching to them what it is, the solution. So with the defined audience, you got to give them a solution, not the product. The product is a part of the solution, okay? But it is not the key focus. We talked about this last night. It's what is the solution that you're bringing them. People need their problem solved, okay? They need their problem solved. So till today, you got to be clear. What is my story? A very clear story, no jumbled mess. Who am I meant to talk to? And what is my solution for them? This is what helps you to generate products, okay? And to generate beneficial, okay, services, okay? And this is what's going to make you very confident on pitching to people. Most business owners that I meet who were in fear, they don't pitch to people. This is why the person over here is making so much money. You know why? They are going out to the world. They are literally evangelizing for their business. Okay? And they're saying, I'm going to meet these people and I'm going to make this money. I'm going to pitch to them what I do and how I do. You have to be the ultimate salesman. Salespeople are out here in these streets making money. And then here you are, the business owner. Do you know what the most important job of a business owner is, especially in the startup phase, is the salesman. You got to be a salesman. That's how you actually get your business off the ground, to scale it to a certain level, to then hire employees and to scale from there. Okay, and then to keep on branching out with services. But you can't get there if you're not pitching. You're not selling. You know what we do? We wait for people to come to us. This is the right way. The wrong way is this. This is what most business owners do. I'm going to wait until people come to me. And what you do is you feel as if, you're going to, and I'm going to post a little bit on social media. I'm going to post a little bit on social media. I'm going to, do a few little posts, go to just a few little events. But the thing about it is, to make real money, you got to go out, right? So how do I go out? Well, some of you guys already know this, but we're going to just go over some things that you can do today to squash fear. The number one way to squash fear in business is to do something that really just scares the heck out of you. You almost have to scare yourself. So today, with the clarity, after you get done knowing your clarity, I want you to scare yourself. Okay? And I like to call this the boo method. Okay, it's what I teach to some of my clients who are in severe fear modes. I get it a lot with my clients. You have to scare yourself. I call it again the boo method. It works. You don't believe me? Just watch. That's what the song says. Okay. Don't believe me? Just watch. Okay. Anyway, so you have to scare yourself, and it's called the boo method. So this is how the boo method works. B-O-O. Okay. So you may literally think this is hilarious, but I promise you, your face when you get done doing this, you're going to be like this. Oh my gosh. Okay. This drawing with the sketch pad is probably not good for me because I can be completely silly. So the first thing you need to do is you need to do something that branches you out. Okay, that branches you out. It needs to be something that literally is something that you have not done yet. So it could be just calling somebody, emailing somebody, but you got to do it in order to step out of fear. If you really want to get out of fear, you got to scare yourself. You got to scare yourself. And so you have to do something that like makes you have butterflies and makes you shook. You got to do that. You got to figure out what that is today. You got to figure, okay, is it calling so-and-so? Is it, is it finally responding back to that email? Is it emailing a whole bunch of people in my area? And it's funny because we feel like, okay, I did it once, it didn't work. Did a couple times, it didn't work. You got to keep on doing it. You got to keep on doing it so people realize who you are. You're brand new. People don't know you. It was like one introduction is going to do it. All I got to do is just, no, you're a business. Come on, there are people fighting for people's attention almost every day. And here you are, you feel like because you told them once and that's going to sell them. And then you wonder why you broke. Because people are being bombarded every day on where to eat, on where to put their money at, on where to put their kids in, on, where to get clothes from. And you think that because you told somebody once, and that's it. The second thing you got to do is you got to open up. There's something in you that is blocking you from doing this, okay? When you branch out, you got to open up, okay? You got to open up your mouth, okay? Your mouth. You got to open up your bank account. Okay? And guess what else you got to open up? You got to open up your heart. This is where people are scared to be hurt in business. They're scared to lose. They're scared to fail, all these different things. You got to realize that you're in this thing to win. Okay, you got to open up your heart. For most people, it's actually a heart issue. There's something in them that's making them scared. And to be honest, it comes back to the heart. I just don't want to hear no. I just don't want to, I put my hard work ethic into this, and I just don't want to be rejected, and that's very honest. That's very a real place. But you got to realize that in order to get everything that God has for you, okay, because, I'm saved. So we're going to make it, Boss Builder is about, the God in this. And so you got to open up your heart to receive. Okay, the same thing that will, you're saying, okay, I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to hear the no. I don't want to. But then here's the thing. You got to open up your heart because that's also how you're going to hear the yes. Okay. The last thing. So branches, you got to branch yourself out. This is supposed to say branch yourself. I don't know why this says branches you out, but it's still. You got to do something that branches you out. You got to do something where you open up. Here's another thing. Last thing. In everything that I've done to scare myself, I've had to realize that I've had to go over and above. Okay. You won't make it if you don't go over and above. Okay. Last night I didn't go to bed till about 2. Now, I'm not about staying up late forever. But there are nights you're going to stay up late to work on product. So last night I began to lay out the 30-day Boss Builder book, right? And it's something that is coming out as a connection to the course, to the 2-day training. So I'm going to be offering exclusively to those who sign up for my class first. And so I had to get set up and lay that stuff out, right? And I've been thinking about, what's something I haven't done before? It's something I haven't that will really stretch me. And I've done many workbooks. I've done different things. But then here's something else that really stretched me, though, in this whole process. Me reaching out to people about even the training that I'm providing, even though it's free. I had to reach out to people who I've never reached out before. I had to collaborate. I had to do some things to get more people to sign up. And so you got to stretch yourself. I'm going to be emailing some people today on some coaching and services, that I believe that I can provide for them, and so the money is here, right? The money is here, and then you're here. You have to literally reach out and grab it. Now, a lot of us, we're fortunate, we get leads, we get, people who are referring us. It's awesome. But those big contracts, governments, when they put these huge contracts, they're looking for a bid. They're looking for people to reach out. You gotta be someone who saying, okay, I'm not going to sit on the sidelines. I'm going to do something. Now, the thing about it is that for some of you, you're thinking too small about what you do. Let's say you're a coach and you're like, oh, well, or you're, a motivational, maybe like, you have a personal brand. And so, but you're all about encouraging people and you're trying to figure out, okay, how I'm going to make more money. Well, it's because your fear is trapping your mind. Okay. And you're not thinking about product. You're not thinking about services. So I'm glad that you have the ebook or the book. Okay. Now it's time to think about the course. Okay. Now it's time to think about the apparel. These are just ideas. You don't have to have all of these. I'm just kind of giving some ideas. Now you need to have the webinar. Okay. Now you need to have the event. These are just ideas. Okay. Now you need to do the podcast or the radio show. Because you have to build up something that people can tune into to hear your experience. This right here is great, right? It's a great way to build up exposure, to put yourself out there, to give people content and they can go out. This is great once you've built up your community. I don't suggest doing especially physical ones. Virtual ones are different, but doing physical ones until you can prove your community tribe exists and their actionable movements to gather. Okay, this is, so don't be doing this and losing your mind. Apparel is great once you have a clear message. Can't sell what isn't clear. This can be done immediately. This can be done immediately. Okay, so these are 2 great steps to do. This one right here is great. Okay, to get your voice out there. But here's the thing about this one though. With podcasts and radio shows, you got to be different. Okay. And you got to give the people what they want. Because it's about people. It's not about people hearing your voice. It's about the people. Okay, so people need to hear you. Okay. Now, the last thing, I know I said it's going to be the last thing, but I just want to get you guys this information real quick. Like a bonus segment. Right, bonus segment on here. Okay. People ask me a lot about, Genesis, how do you keep certain things organized, right? Especially when you're trying to build this thing out. Genesis, you seem like you're doing it, yeah, but it's a process, okay? And one of the things you have to realize is that whatever you focus on, that's what will grow. Okay, whatever you focus on, that's what will grow. Say it again. Whatever you focus on, that is what will grow. And you got to figure out this is not to go back to guys, okay, having only 4 to 5 services, right, that you are pitching to people because you don't want to confuse them. But there also has to be a flow in your business. Let's talk about flow. And with this, there has to be a flow, and this is where you have to be organizing your business to understand what should come first, what should come second, what should come third. Right? This is really big. The first thing for those of you who are brand new in business, okay, there are some things that I would definitely give as advice. The first one, sorry, I got some notification. The first one is it starts with your story. Okay, now I'm about to branch this out on how I suggest for my clients how they maximize their growth as a business. Okay, especially when you're trying to pitch product. First, start with your story. Okay, and your expertise. Okay. You should already, when you launch your business, you should have your products and services already organized and set up. Yeah, it's kind of figure out how to spell out the rest. Okay, already organized, right? Products or services, right, on your site, organized. Now, this is how I suggest people develop flow in their business. Okay, once you've laid out your story and you've identified your expertise, okay, And on top of that, your target market. So I am here to help. You may say, I'm here to help churches and businesses who have a budget of da-da-da-da. Okay. Or I'm here to help people get out of debt, right? And I offer, lower price products to high ranging products. Exposure. This is where people skip it at because you don't want to invest in growing your exposure. You gotta go out here. Okay. So if once you've established who you are, what you do, things like that, exposure. I always tell people, once you get your first range of clients, we talked about it, get the testimonials. Okay, we're ready to address this, so I'm not going to go over it. Okay, you're going to get your testimonials. Once you get your testimonials, add those bad boys to the site. Okay, it could also be where, like, let's say, you offer your ebook to a couple friends to read for free. Okay, do that and then get their testimonials. Okay, gotta get some testimonials. Get the testimonials, okay? And then once you do that, once your website is now kind of like, okay, I'm proven, I've got some people who can prove that I'm good at what I do. Hey, now you got to go out here and do some collabs, okay? And some networking to pitch what you've now launched, okay? Once that happens, you also need to do some ads. I like social media. For me, Facebook and Instagram. Really, Facebook is really great for me. But ads, and you need to increase your connections. Now, networking is in a sense the same thing, but what I'm saying is, how many people you actually touch on a daily basis, right? So a lot of you only have like 500 friends on Facebook, and you're trying to figure out why. You need to get some more friends on that friends list, okay? You need to get as many friends as you can on that friends list. As many people who match the demographic that you're trying to sell to on that friends list. If you're going to be on here selling on social media, Instagram, you need to find all the people that match your target market. So if you're here to serve churches, you need to be connected to as many pastors as possible. You need to be connected to as many people who are in the team as possible. You need to be connected to, that's what you need to be connected to. Okay. If you're here to serve people who are in the food industry, you need to have as many, people in the food industry that you're connected to. But, you have to have them next to you and that you're talking to on a daily basis. So that needs to be apparent. Okay. Now, once you start building up exposure, okay, that's when you do a second, I like to call a second tier or release of services. Okay, this is when I go back, once I've started to establish myself in the crowd, and I've started to get, hopefully, if this is going right, you should be making more money, which means more testimonials, which means you're building up, this community of people who really are getting into what you do. Now you need to go back and you need to revise your services. Okay, now is it time to increase the price? Okay, now that you're starting to really build momentum. Okay, is it time to upgrade services? Or revise them, whether it's, products or services. Yeah, oh, Jesus. This is not working. There we go. Okay. Right. Is it time to revise the products or services? Okay. And then last but not least is my storytelling. You can add, now that you've experienced more, you can pitch more. So you need to go back to your story that you told at the very beginning and now add on the success that you've had thus far. Because this is going to help you branch out to more and more people. More and more experience you have, the more and more you can pitch out. Okay? So you got to have stories that sell. I want you to go back to your story. Okay? I want you to go back to your story, and I want you to think about this. My past, my wake up moment, where it clicked for me, and this is the thing, this is not your wake up moment of when you decide to launch your business. This is the wake up moment of when what you're providing for people impacted you. Okay. Number 3, the transformation. This is what you need to be selling in your story. And then your business, which is the solution. So my past, what I've been through, my wake up moment, what impacted me, the transformation, what changed as a result of me making my own decision to make myself better, and then the solution, which technically is the business. This applies to everything. Remember yesterday we talked about makeup. We talked about health pills. We talked about literally what was my past. My past equals the problem. Okay, the part that connects to who you're meant to serve. Okay, my wake up moment when I realized that there was something that needed to be done. Okay, something where it could be as simple as when you look at let me just share from my own personal experience, business. So my past was that I began to see how, I was really confused. I didn't really understand my purpose. Didn't really understand what I was meant to do. I was in a troubled point. And so I had no clarity in my business. I had no, direction. I just was out here selling and pushing, and I realized that I needed to create some things. I needed to create some systems. I needed to evaluate what was my real story. What was it that I could do best? Remember yesterday I gave an amazing quote, which we're going to share today. It's not about what you can do. Business is about what you do best, right? We can do a lot of things, but what is it that we do best? Well, I realized that what I could do best was teaching. So I had to clear out a lot of things that didn't match that anymore. I had to become more clear in my offerings. I had to become more clear in what it was that I exactly do. People will say all the time, well, Genesis, what is it that you do exactly, right? That's becoming a problem for me. So I had to clear out a lot of things and say, hey, I'm here to help businesses and ministries scale. I focus on the marketing and I focus on the branding and I focus on the tech side. I focus on those realms, right? Really bringing people clarity in their businesses for them to really have profitable results, right? So what impacted me was when I got my own stuff together. Right? And then I transform my business to bring a solution now to say what I've done for myself, I can do for you. Right? The way that I'm able to gain clients and I'm able to pack out classrooms and I'm able to really just, and things on my level. See, not on somebody else's level, but on my level. People, they connected with that. They said, because, I'm not, look, let me first just make 5K this month. Let me first just make 10K this month. Let me first just make 20K this month. And then, okay, I can go higher, but you got to first have like a consistent bring in, right? So that's what clicked for me. That's my story. What is your story? What is the story that you tell people on why you do what you do? The reason why it's hard for you to separate yourself from the crowd is that because you have no story. So you get grouped into all the other people who don't have a story. Right? Storytelling is what upgrades your product. It's really not even the price point, but it's what upgrades the value of it. Right? For me, I am more keen on attaching myself and investing in stuff where I feel like there's a story. I feel like there's something greater. That's why people like certain mom and pop shop restaurants, because there's a story, right? And some of them are even bigger ones. People love the story behind certain restaurants, right? Even if they're large scale, because there's a story. There's something there, right? So you got to figure out as a small business owner, right? I mean, again, there are some businesses that don't really focus on storytelling, but most of them do. They have some kind of story, even if it's not that well known. They have some kind of story. So here's what I want you to do today. We talked about clarity. You gotta have clarity in your business, but this is what else. I want you to work on your story today. Get this stuff ready for your website. What was the past? What was the issue? What was your wake up moment? What impacted you? What was the transformation that happened in your life? And then how did you take that transformation and help people in business or help people through your business? If you're a graphic designer, I tell my creatives all the time, the only reason why people are respecting you at a certain level is because you have not upgraded yourself. Got to upgrade yourself. So what was the issue that I found in, when I was a graphic designer, my main issue was the fact that, okay, for myself, right, it was, hard for people to find, great and clean minimalistic type designs. It was, people needed more than just a designer. They needed advice. So people began to come to me for wisdom. At design. And so I knew that. And so I began to market that. I began to put that out there, and people they started coming, right? And so from there, but it was an experience of mine. I was a PK who was serving in the church, serving in my parents' church, and no one was doing the design. So I had to learn how to do the design. And so, I began to talk, and most of my clients who were churches, what really pitched them was the fact, number one, I was a PK, and I understood their struggle. I understood their struggle. I understood what it was like to not have a consistent designer, to being going up and down, and okay, we're doing this, but then now we're going to switch this, and need someone who was adaptable. But I understood it, and so that's what I hooked, line, and sinker. Okay, what is it that you're hook, lining, and sinking with people? What is it that is your story that can impact you? Now, let's go back to a question. Ty says, how do you determine what and what not to tell the business owner? So, let me get this, because I definitely got to leave soon. So, are you saying what to tell? Let me make sure I'm saying this right. Are you saying to the consumer? Okay, as the business owner. Okay, got it. I got it. See. So let's talk about transparency, but not exposure. And when I say, now, I'm talking about different type of exposure. We're not talking about exposure where you're getting your name out. These are not the same. Okay. Transparency is not the same thing as exposing your trash. Okay. This is a quote that I say to myself, and I've taught my clients. Okay. I only reveal what will heal. This should help. I only reveal what will heal. Okay. Healing can also mean help, solution, an expected end. Glory to God. You remember when I told you that you are an evangelist for your business? Right. Think about evangelism. This is what I tell people. Now, some people don't actually know how to evangelize. So this is where this may be an issue. Some people don't know how to evangelize. But when you tell your testimony, I want you to really think about this. This should actually help you. One of the things I was taught at church, at my church, local church, we did like an evangelism training where we learned how to tell our testimony. And one thing that was so key, and I actually applied this to my business, and it helped very much, was that you don't tell parts of your testimony that are not beneficial, right? So I am not going to tell my testimony, and this is just, real. I'm not going to tell parts of my testimony that are not going to help anybody. Okay? Some things are not actually going to help people because it leads to no end. There's nothing that it would benefit from, right? And then two, if I know my audience, if you know who your audience is, there are some things you're just not going to share. There's some things you're just not going to talk about because it has no relevance. So just like evangelism, just like telling your testimony is your testimony for your own life is the same thing. It's not the same thing, but it's in correlation to your testimony for your business, right? So you got to think about, you're not for everybody. This is so, I cannot say how key this is. You got to pick a lane. I'm going to say this one more time. You have to pick a lane. I was working on a book called Undating. And I really, I like the book. It's great. It's awesome. But what I realized was that that's not my lane. Even though the book has a lot of good knowledge in it. And I'm talking about my dating life, stuff like that. But I didn't decide to go forward with it because it wasn't my lane. What is it that you are known for? Okay, I'm going to say it again. What is it that you're known for? When you know what you're known for, it makes it easier to figure out what of your testimony you provide. I don't talk about my dating life. I'm talking about my love life. Because I'm here for business owners and people in ministry to help them scale. You have to learn what is your lane. A lot of people out here, they're not making it because you're all over the place. You got to figure out what is your lane. What is it? Let me tell you something. You can only teach who you are and what you're good at. Let me tell you this, what you're good at. You cannot, and so a lot of people, what they do is they tell every part of their testimony because they feel like it just goes back to business is not about what you can do. It's about what you're good at. It's about what you do best, right? So I don't tell all the parts of my story because, to be honest, some of the stuff doesn't relate and it doesn't link to what I do best. So I'm about business. I'm about building people's businesses in certain areas. So you got to really figure out, okay, you will only reveal what will heal, what will lead to an expected end, what will lead to someone becoming better at what it is that, you want them or what they desire to become better at. Okay. And then here, listen, with this is that, when it comes to me storytelling, right, and really providing insight, okay, it needs to be linked to a product anyway, right? So it has to be linked to a product or service. So it's not as if you can tell everything because unless you have a product or service that you can pitch, it's not as if, why am I telling all this stuff if it's not linked to something, right? I mean, this is the reason why when people are evangelized, telling people about Christ, it's like, well, what does it got to do with you being saved? What does it have to do with me coming to know Jesus Christ? It has nothing. So what is it that you're pitching to people? If, we Christians, we talk about salvation. Jesus Christ, and so if it doesn't relate, I'm going to talk about, what I've been through, but that thing needs to drive to the cross. If it doesn't drive to the cross, it's not a testimony. Okay. A testimony is how you got through the test. It's not about how you enjoyed the test. It's about how you got through the test. So the same thing is it has to be linked to a product or service. Now, a lot of times in email marketing and, webinars, we tell our story, but it's still linked to something. It's still linked to the core message of our brand. Okay. So this is the reason why you got to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, you'll be telling a story. This will be you. And you're telling a story in all different directions. I'm going to tell this, and I'm going to tell this about myself. I'm going to tell this about myself. And now, because there's no direction in your storytelling, people just like, I'm a little bit confused here. I thought I was. This is the reason why we talk about the person that when you're in business, and this is the last. I keep on saying this is the last thing. I enjoy teaching you guys. When you're in business, right? We talked about the guy. We talked about this guy, right, who was on the path. We said this. I think we showed this before. Right, here's this guy, and he wants to grab every dollar. I showed this yesterday, but I got to go back to it. He wants to grab every dollar from every person. Okay, I'm going to tell you why, usually. Pride. To be known as the all-knowing. People have an obsession with being known as the one that everyone goes to for everything. That's not a goal, guys. That's how you stay broke. You want to be known as the expert. Okay? Not to be all-knowing. To be an expert means that you are gifted at one thing. And the thing about it is that if you try to become known for multiple things, you'll never become known because people don't know exactly what it is that you do. You don't want to be the jack of all trades. You need to find a category. People who are really successful, they have a category. They're in a category. They're not in multiple ones, they're in a category. Just because I'm a business owner doesn't mean I teach people about business, right? I have friends who are in business, but they don't teach about business, right? I have tons. Look, how many entrepreneurship friends do I have? I have tons. Oh my gosh. But they're not out here being business coaches. They're not out here being business coaches. You know why? Because they know their lane. I'm not out here trying to be a relationship expert. I'm not out here trying to be a fitness coach. Do I go to the gym? Yes. Have I been in relationships? Yes. But I'm not out here to do that. You know, do I know how to take care of my finances? Yes, but I'm not out here trying to be a financial coach. You know, you got to figure out what lane you're at. There's power in being in a lane. If you don't know what lane you're in, you gotta work on that. That's what I tell people. Well, one of the issues why many people struggle on, becoming successful is they really don't want to listen. They really feel like they can become known at tons and tons of things, and it doesn't work that way. Okay, you gotta pick a lane, and you gotta become really well known at that lane. When you become well known at that lane, when people are pitching to people to have you speak, you know, there's a certain subject they want you to come in on. You know, if I'm saying, you know what, hey, I want to grow my finances, that's the reason why Dave Ramsey is known so well. You know, Dave is not out here, okay, doing all these other things. Dave, you know him for money, okay? And the reason why he's known for that, y'all, is because that's what he talks about. You want to be, you want to be out here well known as him, but you want to be out here all these things. I'm going to tell you, you want to make some money, pick a lane. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I pray that on today, you're going to focus on clarity. Okay. This is today's goal. Okay. You're going to focus on clarity for your business. You're going to focus on your story. Okay, we talked about the elements of your story. You're going to focus on your lane. Okay, get better and better and better at your lane. Get well known at your lane. For me, I'm going to be well known at this in one lane. I'll be well known at helping people scale their businesses and their ministries by helping them build communities and their tribes. Okay? Yeah. That's what I'm going to become well known for. That's what I'm going to help people do. If you don't have a focus, you'll never have real money. You're just going to be having, you can have a couple thousand coming in, but it won't be enough to take your whole family out, for a $50,000 trip. You can just drop it like it's nothing. That won't happen because you want to be a jack of all trades. Get clarity, get a story, stay in your lane. Okay. And then from your lane, that's where you're going to grow your products and your services, okay, with no fear. Okay, you're going to not have any fear. You're going to price yourself where you should price yourself. You're going to call the people who you should call. And you cannot wait on this. So this is what you need to do this weekend. If you're not doing anything this weekend, if you have some space this weekend, how about we work on this, okay? And then tell your friends to sign up for Boss Builder so that we can all learn in these next couple of days, okay? I'm excited, guys, about what Boss Builder is going to do. I'm excited about the workbook coming out. The workbook is a 30-day workbook. It's going to literally take you through 30 days of building up your tribe and your community. Basically, what I did was I went into all the answers to the question that I asked about what are some things that you need to work on. And that's how I ended up compiling out the content for this. It's a 30-day workbook. It's about 100 pages. I'm going to be adding a few extra things, and it actually will be a physical book. So you'll have to order, and it will be available to my Boss Builder community first, and then after a couple weeks, I'm going to release it to the public. But if you're a part of Boss Builder, you'll be able to get your hands on it for an amazing special price. So guys, thank you so much for joining, and I'll see you guys at another time. Bye, guys.